This is Think About Thursday, and I wanted to discuss with you all some thinking questions that I know you all are greatly anticipating. And I want to ask you, how do you say no? How do you prioritize your needs? How do you set boundaries? How do you disagree with people? How are you an honest person, or are you? How do you challenge poor behavior of yourself and others? How do you walk away from toxic environment, including people, places, and things? How do you acknowledge your mistakes? How do you stand up for yourself? And last but never least, how do you protect your time and space? I'd love to hear from all of you. You guys have been excellent in answering questions for Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. And don't forget to let us know what state or country you're from. This is Nisi with Think About Thursday for Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. And I'd love, again, to hear from you. You can check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Facing the Lion podcast. And for Instagram, it's vibe_talk. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much for answering these Think About Thursday questions.
I think there's so many ways to do this, and I feel like I've navigated these situations in different ways in my life, but currently what's really working for me is listening to my instincts, trusting my gut, and when something feels off, taking a moment to really deeply think about it, and have a nice combination of logic and emotion, I think, when dealing with these things, and just being honest, being clear with myself about my standards, and being clear with others about them as well. Thank you for these questions. They are incredibly, they bring up a lot, so thank you.
I just heard this recently and I loved it. It's called Protecting Your Peace. And it just means setting boundaries. You know, the first time somebody was discussing having boundaries, telling me how they had boundaries, and this is about 15 years ago. I had never heard of the term used outside of places. So I said to her, "Are you talking about a boundary like Mexico and California?" And she said, "No, boundaries." I never heard of the concept. And I didn't realize until then what a people pleaser I was. I had made a lot of mistakes at a certain point, and to come back, I felt I had to say yes. I couldn't say no, and let me tell you, I can ramble on forever and move all over the place with my topics. And I could quite possibly be seen as toxic. But when I'm quiet, people are like, hey, what's wrong? What's going on? Why aren't you so, what's wrong, Jazz? Oh, I was just, thinking, I don't think so much. You want me to identify your talk? So, every single one of those questions you asked, I was very intrigued by it. Simple questions, but philosophically so. The biggest one, though, was how do you stay honest? Well, let me tell you how I stay honest. When I was going to that ugly time in my life, I lied a lot. I was never known to be a liar. Maybe an exaggerator. Maybe there weren't 1,000 people there. Maybe there was 500. But I never lied. And then I started lying. And I got caught. Not by the police, but by family and friends. Quite possibly the worst feeling. I would rather have been thrown in jail. Because once you're a liar, I don't know if you're ever a truth teller. So I learned how to tell the truth again by being completely transparent, which was not the best thing in the world as well, because now all of a sudden it's about what's your narrative, and I'm like, well, my narrative's prettier than the truth. So my question is, when do you know? I mean, I guess if your narrative is truthful, but I think you could be too honest. I just hope that people learn from that your reputation is everything. Guard it with your life. Rule number 30-something from 48 Laws of Power. But interesting questions. I could answer each and every single one of them, but that would take me 5 minutes each. This is Jessie over and out.